It's midnight. The world is quiet and everyone is asleep, but Cecilia is wide awake. She's lying in bed, and right next to her is her husband, Adrian. Now, on the outside, Cecilia's life looks perfect. Adrian is a famous, incredibly wealthy optical engineer. But behind closed doors, it's a living hell. Adrian is a cruel, controlling man who treats her like a prisoner. Cecilia just wants to be free, but she knows he will never let her walk away. So, she decides to run. She's been planning this for a while. First, she drugs Adrian to make sure he's out cold. Once she's certain the drug has worked, she quickly packs her things. She's smart! She disables every security camera in the house, except for the one in the bedroom. She keeps that one active on her phone just so she can watch him while she sneaks out. She changes her clothes and heads for the garage, but then she sees their dog. She can't bring herself to leave an innocent animal behind with a man like Adrian. But as she tries to take off the dog's collar, she accidentally sets off the car alarm. The loud noise pierces the silence. Panic hits her. She runs into the dark woods, heart pounding. Behind her, Adrian wakes up. She's almost caught, but suddenly her friend Emily pulls up in a car. In the rush to get inside, Cecilia drops the bottle of sedatives in the dirt. Adrian reaches the car just as they speed away. Finally, she's free. 2 weeks go by. Cecilia is staying with Emily's friend, James, and his teenage daughter, Sydney. But even though she's out of that house, the fear hasn't left her. She's terrified to even step outside. She has this constant, heavy feeling that someone is watching her. Then, Emily comes over with news that seems too good to be true. Adrian is dead. Cecilia is speechless. She's so shocked she has to go to the bathroom just to process it. She can't wrap her head around it. A man who controlled every single detail of his life and hers, from what she wore to what she ate, would just give up and end it. It doesn't feel right. Emily insists it's true and tells her it's finally safe to go outside. Cecilia finally builds up the courage to walk to the mailbox. There's a letter from Adrian's brother Tom, who is also his lawyer. It turns out Adrian left her $5 million. Overjoyed and feeling a sense of relief, Cecilia buys gifts for James and Sydney. She's grown so close to Sydney, like a mother figure, and she even pays for the girls' fashion school tuition. But the perfect ending starts to crumble. That feeling of being watched gets stronger. One afternoon, a knife just slides off the kitchen counter on its own. Later, the stove catches fire. That night, she feels a presence in her room. The door opens by itself. She tries to tell herself she's just imagining things, but then she hears breathing right next to her ear. Suddenly, someone pulls the sheets off her and starts taking photos. She sits up, terrified, but the room looks empty. She can feel him sitting in the chair right there, but she can't see him. She calls for James, but he finds nothing. He thinks she's just traumatized by Adrian's death and tells her to rest. The next day, Cecilia goes for a job interview, but when she opens her portfolio to show her work, the pages are empty. Her hard work is gone. She faints from the stress and wakes up in the hospital. The doctors tell her they found high levels of a drug in her system, the same drug she used on Adrian, and then the ultimate chill. The medicine bottle she dropped in the woods is sitting right there on her side table. She knows it's him. She meets with Tom and James and tells them Adrian is alive. She explains that as an optical engineer, he must have built a suit that makes him invisible just to torture her. Tom looks at her with pity. He says Adrian was a monster to him too, but he insists Adrian is dead. He even shows her photos of the body. He tells her she's just suffering from trauma. Cecilia turns to Emily for support, but Emily is furious. She shows Cecilia an abusive email she supposedly sent, threatening Emily's life. Cecilia is heartbroken. She tries to explain that an invisible man is ruining her life, but Emily doesn't believe her and cuts her off. Back at the house, Cecilia collapses in tears. Sydney comes to comfort her, but suddenly an invisible force hits Sydney across the face. Since Sydney can't see anyone else, she thinks Cecilia hit her. James rushes in, sees his daughter in pain, and yells at Cecilia. He takes Sydney and leaves. Cecilia is left all alone, screaming into the empty air that it wasn't her. Fed up, Cecilia decides to fight back. She scatters things on the floor to catch his footprints, but the invisible man just cleans them up. Then, she calls Adrian's phone. She hears it ringing. In the attic! She climbs up and finds his phone, photos of herself, and blueprints of the house. He's been there the whole time. She feels a presence downstairs and runs to the kitchen. Suddenly, the invisible man grabs her by the neck. He strangles her and drags her across the table. She manages to escape and catches a taxi straight to Adrian's mansion. She breaks into his lab and finds it, a suit covered in thousands of tiny cameras that makes the wearer invisible. She hears someone coming and hides the suit in a cupboard. The invisible man finds her, but she escapes again. She calls Emily and begs her to meet at a restaurant. Emily shows up, but before Cecilia can explain, a knife floats up, slits Emily's throat, and is shoved into Cecilia's hand. To everyone in the restaurant, it looks like Cecilia just murdered her best friend. The police arrest her and send her to a mental hospital. She keeps screaming about Adrian, but they just sedate her. Right before she passes out, she feels a breath on her ear and hears Adrian's voice whisper one word: "Surprise!" James, being a cop, comes to interview her. She tells him she has proof, but she won't say what it is because she knows Adrian is listening. Then, the doctors tell her she's pregnant. Cecilia is devastated. Tom visits her and tells her she can lose the murder charges and keep the inheritance, but only if she goes back to Adrian and raises the child with him. Cecilia realizes Tom and Adrian are in this together. She pretends to consider it, but steals a pen from Tom's bag. That night, she pretends to hurt herself to lure the invisible man close. When he tries to stop her, she stabs the pen into the suit, damaging it. Now, the suit starts to flicker. A massive fight breaks out as police rush in. Adrian, partially visible now, beats the officers down. Cecilia grabs a gun and chases him through the rain. She follows him to the garage where he threatens to kill James and Sydney, just like he killed Emily. He manages to escape in a car, and Cecilia steals one to follow him back to James's house. At the house, Sydney is ready. She sprays the air with pepper spray. James arrives, but Adrian beats him badly. Cecilia rushes in and blasts the invisible man with a fire extinguisher, making him fully visible. She shoots him, but when they pull off the mask, it isn't Adrian, it's Tom. Because Cecilia has been blaming Adrian all along, the police go to his house and find him tied up in the basement. He claims his brother kidnapped him, but Cecilia knows better. She knows Adrian is the mastermind and Tom was just a pawn. She decides to end this her way. She calls Adrian and asks to meet for dinner at his house. She tells him she'll come back if he admits the truth. He plays the victim, blaming Tom for everything. James is outside, listening to everything through a wire Cecilia is wearing. Cecilia starts to cry, and as Adrian leans in to comfort her, he whispers, "Surprise!" finally admitting it was him. Cecilia goes to the bathroom to compose herself. While she's gone, Adrian's own hand moves, picks up a knife, and slits his own throat. Cecilia comes out, screams, and calls 911. To the security cameras, it looks like a clear suicide. James rushes in and sees the body, but as Cecilia walks away, she whispers, "Surprise!" back toward Adrian's body. Under her coat, she's carrying the invisible suit bag. She used his own invention to kill him. James sees the bag. He knows exactly what she did, but he looks at her, understands the hell she's been through, and lets her walk away. Cecilia walks out into the night, finally, truly free.